The Savage Hawkman #9, written by Rob Liefeld, Mark Polton, and art by Joe Bennett. Totally different creative team last time. It was a one-off. Last issue doesn't matter. Forget the entire last run. So now we get into it, and Hawkman, aka Carter Hall, he's doing pretty good for himself. He's a world-renowned expert on linguistics, a professor of history, an archaeologist. He's got a nice apartment and whatnot. Forget all that stuff before about him not paying and stuff. Forget all that. He's doing good now. So anyway, he goes out on his balcony after a long night of studying, and he turns into Hawkman, and he goes out for just a fly because it's not burning or painful anymore, I guess, and he's just going for it. And as he's doing so, someone targets him and shoots him out of the sky with some sort of big explosive thing. And we see three, as best I can say, is Tron Legacy rejects. And they're like, all right, our orders to detain him, so let's just fire off another shot. And so they do, and the one guy tackles him into like an office building that still has people inside. And they fight briefly. And basically the guy's like, psh, you don't seem so tough. And he's like, you caught me off guard. Now I'm ready to fight. Here we go. So they start fighting for a little bit. And because they are up in the air, he's like, I can fly like all the time. I wonder how easily you would fly if I took off these little gadgets of yours. And he breaks off like the wings that these guys have and just starts like dropping them down to the ground. And as he's just going after all of them in an extended fight scene. And his entire monologue is like, you don't understand. Hawks are predators. They aren't hunted. They hunt. And I'm like, hey, Rob Liefeld, didn't you write Hawk and Dove for like 8 issues? I feel like I've heard these before. You like little factoids about hawks, don't you? So anyway, he takes one guy and tackles him to the ground and says like, all right, who are you working for? And he mentions the name Xerxes. Xerxes. And he's like, all right, tell me who he is. Tell me what he wants with me. But before he can reveal anything, he literally is just vaporized in the suit that he's wearing. And, of course, we think that's Xerxes who did it. Meanwhile, on a completely unrelated note, he gets a sharp pain in his head from the nth metal. And he sees a beautiful red-headed woman who spits out a jarbled message of... That's it. That's all you get. And so he's like, well, that was weird. Don't know why that happened. Also, dang, she was hot. So then he goes back to his apartment, and as he enters his apartment, it explodes. He literally cannot last for 10 seconds without something happening to him. So it explodes, and then he just goes back out flying on the town, and he's like, all right, I'm trying to investigate my nth metal stuff, and I feel like I might be getting a bit too close to some answers because while the other guys were hunting him, they said stuff about nth metal. I forgot to mention that. It's not really that important. Regardless, at Penn Station later, apparently he set up a whole bunch of drop-off locations in case something like this ever happened. It's got a clean set of clothes and a copy of his recent work on him, which doesn't make any sense except to make the next scene make sense. But regardless, he goes into a bathroom and he gets changed, and he's like, I'm starting to get paranoid. Who else could be out there for me? So then he goes to a diner and meets up with Emma and is basically just telling him like, hey, so I've been investigating like these ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, and I think they're talking about like a celestial dimension. And, it's not like just aliens. It's like alien heaven. And Emma's like, I guess that could be the thing. Way back in our first arc, we had that spaceship show up, and I thought maybe that would solve some stuff, but it wasn't. So why are you able to read this stuff now? And he's like, I can't explain. I'm just able to read it. But regardless, okay, my apartment kind of blew up, and I was kind of attacked. So I think I'm closer to something than we might know. And then the cafe blows up? I'm not kidding you. The cafe just blows up, and he's fine. He protects Emma, but then he transforms into his Hawkman armor right in front of her. And this guy steps out named Ironside, and he's with some other Tron Legacy rejects, and he's like, if you step out and fight me, Hawkman, I will spare the other casualties of these people. And so Hawkman lands a good shot on him with his mace, but before it's able to like land a killing blow, which seems like he's really able to do very quickly, Ironside gets his lackeys to shock Hawkman again and knock him out. So then they put him into some stasis pod, and then later on, apparently, he's contacted, like he's in a cage, just a normal looking cage, and Xerxes comes out dressed in his own stupid ass looking armor. And Hawkman's like, I take it you're Xerxes. I'm going to beat you up. And he's like, yeah, well, you can't. But what you are going to do is you're going to go out there and you're going to fight for my customers' like approval, because I'm a dealer of ancient weapons, and your nth metal is the most ancient and weapony of them all, but they want to see a demonstration, so you're going to go out there and fight other people for it. And he's like, and if I refuse, I'm going to kill your girlfriend. That's what's going to happen. So go out there and fight. And he goes out and he sees his opponents, which are just 3 no-named like whatevers, and then Xerxes says, let the games begin. That's it. That's the issue. So, just to recap, I know I just did that, but just to recap my recap, he went out, he got attacked, a guy got vaporized, he saw a vision of some woman, his apartment exploded, he got a drop bag, he talked to a girl at a diner, the cafe exploded, and then he was brought to some weird ancient games where he has to fight for his life for the entertainment of others. So, to call this scattershot would be an understatement. I just... like, I know that there was a lot going on in the first arc of, like, the first run of this book, but this is ridiculous. This is something else entirely. Like, so much happened in absolutely no time at all. And I like, some aspects of it I like, but other aspects I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? Art looks great throughout. Who did I say was on art? Joe Bennett. Fantastic job on Joe Bennett's part. I think some of the outfits on these new villains are pretty stupid, but, you know, that's just because they all look like they came from the culling, and the culling is equally as stupid. So, yeah, no, for this, I mean, I feel like I can't say above a 6. And that sucks because I really do like the art, but like from the internal monologue to just the general plot structure, none of that was working for me. I don't care that hawks are predators. I get it. You don't have to say that in every book you write, Rob. I get it. So no, it's a 6. I can't in good faith go any higher than that, and that is not a good start to the new run. Oh boy.